Hey everybody, I am here with Mrs. Mecholsky. Mrs. Mecholsky, how's it going out there? Good to see you.
Good. It's
How's
good
life?
to see you. It's good. Every day is another day.
Every day is another day. What did you have for dinner last night?
Last night I had chicken Alfredo from Scarpanato's in Washington Township.
You fancy.
Yeah, they have like $10 dinner specials.
And
So
are you doing your part to keep them in business?
absolutely. I think we've ordered takeout from there like 3 or 4 times now since all of this.
I hear you. I've been doing the same thing. So you had chicken Alfredo, and it was
Yes,
good.
it was delicious.
Yeah?
I
Did you
finished
get a
it
salad, any roll or anything like that?
No, I mean it comes with they have like homemade focaccia bread, but since they're doing like the dinner deals, they didn't have like the soup and the salad that you normally have. So
Okay. Nice.
what'd you have?
Thank you. I'd like to tell you. I had Pal Joey's. I had a Pal Joey's Italian hoagie.
Okay, Pal Joey's is
Same
the best.
thing. Yeah, you can't go wrong. We've been doing our fair part in ordering out too. We are not doing so much like fast food stuff, but yeah, like you mentioned, maybe ordering from like tonight we're ordering from Mama Marie's. They're doing something I guess like Scarpanato's is doing. They're making pulled pork sandwiches, so we're ordering like
Yeah,
a hot
I
tray
have
or
to
something.
try and go in there one time.
It's good. They're good. Yeah, they know what they're doing. So talk to me about how life is right now for you.
I mean, it's pretty crazy,
What are you
but
doing to
also
stay busy besides
opposite of
schoolwork?
crazy. I've been taking like 2 walks a day, and listening to a bunch of podcasts. So I have like a morning podcast and like a evening podcast.
Even your
And
podcast listening is organized,
yeah,
you
well,
know?
because like certain ones, and like I always know it's Wednesday because the Office Ladies podcast comes out. Like that's my reminder of what day it is.
Okay.
So
I gotta just quick time out. Two podcasts. So one is the Morning Ladies.
no, so this one's once a week. So it's the Office Ladies, and
Office Ladies, I'm sorry.
It's
Okay.
Jenna Fisher and Angela Kinsey from The Office, and they're doing a rewatch of the series. So every week is like a recap of whichever episode they're on, and it's like all behind the scenes trivia. They sometimes have like guests on that were on the show or directors and stuff, and like you just find out all this Office trivia. So
That's cool.
that's
And
really
what's the
good.
other one?
Um,
Or what's another one?
Recently I haven't in a couple days because I'm a little news tired, but I listened to The Daily by the New York Times,
Mm-hmm.
and I started listening to a podcast called Bad on Paper, and it's 2 friends, and they have like an online book club, and they're like influencers, but they talk a lot about like recipes and books and blogging and things like that. So
Oh, that's cool. And I've seen on your Instagram, you are shaming the rest of us with your book consumption. It's like
yeah, well,
I can't even keep up with your posts about the books that you're reading, let alone the books themselves that you're reading.
Well, I set that 52 book goal back in January. It was just to read 1 a week, but now we're home. We have more time. So
What number are you at out of 52?
I think I'm on 32.
That's incredible.
So I'll probably finish pretty early.
And out of like maybe all the books that you've read recently, is there anything that was just an absolute home run that you would mention? What's been the best book you've read since you've been home?
Well, one of the best ones that I've read recently was right before all of this, but it's called The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. And it's fiction, and it's about this like old-time Hollywood starlet that was married 7 different times. And the premise is that there's this journalist who is like interviewing her, and she's getting old and she's sick, and she's like giving her story away finally.
Okay.
And you find out this pretty big twist about her. So that was like one of the best.
All right.
She also wrote Daisy Jones and the Six, which is like a really popular book right now. So, but those 2 are really good.
I'm just curious, but it's funny that like this is what it's come to for us to get 5 minutes to talk about books with each other. You know, I mean, like, yeah. How do you find how do you determine your to read next book? Do you have a queue, or how do you find recommendations? How do you discover the books that you like to read?
Well, I'm in a couple digital book clubs. So like on Facebook, I joined like a couple different book club groups. And so there's always like a monthly selection. And one of those book clubs is doing 2 a month now that
Hmm.
we're all home. So I find a lot
Are
that
these official book clubs, or are they like among your friends? Or are they
no,
like
these are
the,
just by like one girl, the name of the book club has a bad word in it. So
okay, can't mention
can't
that.
bad something book club. It's the
Gotcha.
BB club, you know.
I got you.
But they read primarily, the goal was like to really celebrate women authors. So they only read books by women. So I think that's really interesting. And so I've just found them online.
At one point in the media center that day with Casey, we were talking
Mhm.
about audiobooks, and there's a good one for Audible has a book club, an audio book club called Here For It. And
Okay.
so it's a lot more centered on narrators and what narrators people like, and what kind of Audible does like some Audible originals, which are like more of a production with sound effects and a cast of
Yeah.
characters as opposed to one narrator. So that's kind of neat. I just felt like I needed to jump in and as the media specialist, offer you something in
There you
return for
go.
all the tips you're giving me.
They'll be good for audiobooks are good for listening to on walks, but I usually use Libby from
Yeah,
the
I know you're a
audio.
Libby girl. Yep. And you
Yeah.
turned me on the Libby. So I've been
Yeah.
using that too. It's fantastic. How about like, besides, I know you eat and sleep and all that with
Read.
books. Uh, what about, and by the way, we could talk about this all day. You're making up for all of the students and staff out there for every time I ask them, what are you reading? They're always like, yeah, I don't know. It's like,
I know. I'll be surprised if anyone keeps watching because they'll be like, "Oh my gosh,
they
she's
tuned
talking
out.
about books again."
Well, that'll be a segue. So besides reading, what are you watching on TV, or is there any? Some students are painting and doing all sorts of little crafty projects. Is there anything else you're doing?
Well, I've been watching Outer Banks on Netflix, which I don't know, maybe I'm a little bit too old for, but
I just
it's
talked to Angela Bevilacqua. She's watching that show.
okay. I feel better knowing that the guy that plays the main character who's supposed to be 16, he's like actually 27. So, I
In
mean,
real life, yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
But it's really good. It's someone described it. What made me watch it was someone described it. I think it was on one of my podcasts. They described it as National Treasure meets the OC, and
Okay.
so that hooked me. I was
Drew you right in. What about school? How is school going for you?
It's good. It's been like a process of like figuring out what works. And like a couple weeks ago, I was like, I'm going to reorganize my Google Classroom and make that easier. And now every Monday, I have the kids kind of have a day to get organized for the week. So they've been doing like filling in like a planner with their due dates
Hmm.
for things. And, then they can catch up on work if they need to. And then we kind of go from there. So,
Has
it's
the
been good.
has it been obviously it's different than what we all expected. Would you say everybody's getting by, or is there some
Yeah,
struggles
no,
out there?
I think everything's going pretty well for the most part. Do I wish more kids were coming to my office hours when I sat on Google Meet 2 hours every day and just look at myself on the screen? Yes, I wish I saw more kids. I just miss talking to everybody. That's the biggest thing because like people are doing their work, but that interaction piece is
I
missing.
I hear
So
you. My wife is a teacher in Washington Township. Same thing, holds like a type of office hour for her students. And the very first time she did it, she had one student reach out. And when she was finished, she said the kid didn't even want to talk about school. The kid just
yeah,
wanted to reach out and talk. So you're saying students out there that might be watching, if anybody wants to reach out and check in on Outer Banks and
yeah, or
Gilmore
anything.
Girls, they're welcome to do that too, right?
100%.
You're there either way.
Exactly.
So I could relay this to Nate.
Oh,
and
100%. Yeah.
and Nate
I miss
could check in
Nate,
with you.
all of Nate's jokes, and like when he like makes fun of things I say. I actually very much miss that.
I'll make sure to let him know. I keep telling him I would like to do one of these with him, even though
Oh,
he's not a senior. I think it would be funny for people out there to get Nate's perspective on what it's like to be in quarantine with me.
yeah. Well, I'm sure he's mortified now that we've talked about him for 2 minutes.
I know. Trust me, the second this is over, he's going to come in. He's going to like come out of nowhere. He's going to be like, why do you got to talk about me all the time? Poor Nate. Do you think that we'll go back to school?
I hope that we do. I mean, I see like that little dangling carrot where he, like, the governor didn't say it's closed to the end of the year. He said he's going to
Right.
revisit again in May. I mean, being one of the senior advisors, like, I want to be able to like give everybody all those memories. Like,
Right.
it's what we've all been working towards. So I
Right.
want to see us go back, but
I was talking to Bryce Yorty, and I guess word must have just come out about the senior trip getting canceled. So
yeah.
in talking to Dr. Lombardo and a couple other people about that decision, you have a little bit of insight into how that went down. Would you care to elaborate on? Did you have a Zoom meeting where this was discussed and on the table?
Yeah, it was a process. It was like about a week of just, we were reading everything we could possibly read. And
Mhm.
I mean, we didn't make the final decision. That was admin, obviously.
Right.
But I think once we got notified that Universal Studios was going to be closed until at least June 1st, that's when like the big um like alarm bells kind of went
Yeah.
off. Like, I don't know. And I just read something today that said Disney published like their plan of how they're going to
Hmm.
reopen, but they said at this time there's still no timeline for
Okay.
when we're going to begin this plan. So
I had heard that even among, maybe it's within that timeline that they discussed, that uh, they weren't even going to open up beyond to residents of Florida at first, because they said
yeah.
something to the effect of they receive so many foreign travelers that they
Mhm.
have to make sure that things aren't safe only for like Florida residents and US residents, but
Right.
things have to be safe on a global scale
Globally,
because
yeah.
they can't let people in that are possibly contagious. It's
Mhm.
incredible.
Well, what I read
Prior to
today,
this, I had heard that they only closed like 3 days in their whole history.
yeah. But I read today they said that when they do start opening, they're only going to be at 50% capacity.
Okay.
And every employee has to be temperature checked when they arrive to work and wear a mask. And guests will have to stand 6 feet apart in lines. And once that's like a set amount of time, then they're going to go to 75% capacity. So there's so many parameters,
Hmm.
even just with that plan, and there's still no
That's
timeline. So
crazy.
it was a difficult decision, but I mean, I think ultimately, like, the safety of everyone is the most important
Right.
thing there.
I
So.
understand. I hear you. Um, what would you say is the thing that you miss most about Pittman High School?
I think just seeing everybody like in the morning, like hanging out in the A hallway, because usually like we all stand in the hallway and we're all talking before the students come in, so that's nice. And then just seeing like students, and I know some of the kids have said this in their interviews, but the kids having that you have in class is one thing, because some of them I'm still seeing, like we still have some like class sessions kids can come to, but the kids that you don't have in class anymore
Right.
are the ones that it's hardest to stay in touch with
Yeah.
and kind of see.
And we talked before we began, you have some students out there like Stephanie who, they don't have a way to connect with their teachers unless they're in their class.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a shame, I'm in a unique spot because I don't have classes per se.
Mhm.
So I look at all the kids as sort of for grabs, but then there's been kids, like you said, that have mentioned in their interviews that they, once their class is ended with their teacher, they don't have a way to contact them
Yeah.
right now or see them in the halls, so it's a shame.
Well,
Is there, go ahead, I'm sorry.
I was just going to say too, what I'm trying to do to like kind of togetherness this week on our attendance forms, we have like 2 different recommendation questions. So at the end of this week, I'm going to make a big like recommendation list to put out from like all the students. So it has like TV shows, movies, books, recipes,
That's
board games
great.
to play. So I've been trying to keep everybody like together in that regard.
Yeah, and that's something that I think we took for granted. You know, you think when the bell rings, you shut your proverbial classroom door and get to work with the kids in your room, but the school day is so much more than that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The recipes and sharing what you're reading and things like that. I think that's what all of us as staff members are missing with the kids.
Yeah, the community.
Yeah. What would you say is just, I guess, maybe to tag off of that, what makes our high school so unique and so special?
I just think the connectedness and like the different groups that like you see interacting. I feel like when like I see everybody just like getting along with everybody and talking, and the groups just are so fluid of kids that I see, and I think that that's really special and unique of being in such like a small school and having the opportunity that like everybody knows everybody and includes everybody in things, and I think that's really nice.
Yeah, yeah. So you thank you. You've said you've seen other interviews. So you're familiar with the bowl questions?
Yes, the bowl questions.
Can we do one?
Sure.
So 2 bowls, 1 bowl of questions about me, of course, and 1 bowl of questions about things in the news. And if you get it right, I'm gonna, buy lunch or have a pizza party of some type. So would you like to pick a question out of the bowl of Mr. P questions or the bowl of like politics and New Jersey questions?
I'm gonna like throw you for a loop here. Why don't you put them both down, shuffle them,
Okay.
and just pick one up, and that's what we'll do.
No problem. I could do.
That way we don't know what's what.
All right. You should be able to figure it out based on the question, which bowl.
This is an element of surprise. Like I don't know what I'm getting.
Right. I'm going to pick the question out of the bowl, though. Okay. Yeah. All right. Here we go. Let me just put this bowl aside. Okay. Good question. Here we go. What is my favorite type of berry? It's a multiple choice question. I'll give you the options.
I was going to say, I don't know. I don't know.
Is my favorite type of berry A, a blueberry, B, strawberry, C, raspberry, or D, lieberry? Talk about throwing you for a loop.
Oh, yeah. But see, lieberry?
Blueberry, strawberry, raspberry, or lieberry?
I don't know, because right now you're wearing a whole lot of red and you're in a red room.
Subliminally, yep. Well, there's more than one red berry.
Yeah, I know. When you said strawberry, that's what I was thinking first. I'm going to go with a lieberry.
Lieberry. You think I would answer with sort of like a trick answer here?
Yeah, I think you're going to like the dad joke pun there.
Thanks. I'll take that as a compliment. However, that's incorrect.
Darn.
You should have went with your gut instinct. It's strawberry. All right?
I think you highlighted your answer for your reference there.
What's that?
You highlighted your own answer for reference.
Yes. I try to make it easy to see, just so people know I'm not making it up.
Right.
Lieberry, although a fantastic answer, is it's hokey. It was hokey, and people saying lieberry is one of my bugaboos. It drives me a little nuts. Hey, go to the library. It's library. All right, library. We're in an institute of learning.
Like English lesson here.
Yeah. Let's enunciate, people. Come on, we're big boys and girls. Well, I'm sorry, I'm not going to buy you lunch, at least under this umbrella. But maybe down the line we can work something out. Just to start to wrap up, is I have 2 questions. Number 1, what would you say is the best part of being my friend? And if you don't consider me a friend, then a colleague.
I honestly think your sense of humor, like you always make me laugh in talking to you, and I just enjoy it so much.
Was that an honest answer, or was 100%. That a sarcastic tongue-in-cheek answer?
No, that was 100% honest. I know. I just have like the like resting mean face and like cross. No, but that was sincere.
I struggle with being able to take a compliment. You know what I mean? So you're throwing me off. That's all. But thank you. That was very nice. And I consider you a friend, I was at your wedding. I love you. I miss you. I miss you, Mark. You know, I can't wait to hang out again.
There you go. We'll have to
Don't
do that.
you feel the same way?
100%. Mark wanted to come down and be in the interview.
Mark on your end and Nate on my end we'll each have someone that as soon as this is over, you're going to hear like use foul language off camera. Like, why did you bring me up in the minute?
I'm surprised he's not running down here to like be in the interview right now.
I'll reach out to Mark separately and maybe we'll catch up on another interview.
A guest episode.
Yeah, guest episode, special guest. Miss Mecholsky, just last thing, is there anything you would like to say to the students at Pittman High School before I let you go?
Yes, I just want to say, I know it's getting harder as time goes on, and I totally get it, but just remember, like I said, we are all here for you. Reach out to us. Even if you don't feel like talking about school, send us an email. Like, we want to hear from how everybody's doing, what they're watching, what they're doing for fun. Just like, keep in touch. That's the most important thing. As long as we know that you're all right, we're happy.
I think that's outstanding advice. You know, we all miss the kids in our own way, and we're here if they need someone to talk to. I've had a couple students reach out to me through email just to like almost do like a pen pal thing. Mr. P, I was thinking of you. I hope you're okay. And I thought that was such a nice thing. So yeah, there are avenues for students to stay in touch with us, right?
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Well, listen, Lauren, I appreciate you doing this. I'm grateful. And I hope you and Mark stay safe, and we'll hopefully see each other sooner rather than later.
I hope so too, but it's awesome. Keep doing the interviews, even next year. Like, this has to be like an all-time thing now.
Oh, so you're trying to come up with ways for me to do more work. I see where you're headed with this. Okay, that's fine. I mean, I thought this was a one-off, but you know, now you're putting me on the spot on record that I'm being called out on doing this in perpetuity.
Another compliment. You're doing a great job.
Thanks. I appreciate it. I'd love to do this. Yeah. And maybe we could like catch up with staff yearly and see like, you know, you set your goal of 52 books and what's next year going to bring, you know, could be like 82 books.
I don't know if I'll make it if I'm not home. Hopefully I'm not home.
We've all got to set our own bars, you know? Anyway, I don't know where I'm going with that. Miss Mecholsky, thanks so much for doing this. I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
See you later. Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Bye.